Friday, June 12th, 2020. I'm Tanya Harris, and welcome to TMI Daily, your daily roundup of everything people are talking about online since they aren't allowed to talk about it in person. The Dow Jones plunged nearly 1,900 points yesterday on investors' fears of the pandemic's ongoing effects on the economy. It was a terrible day for Wall Street, but a good one for anyone unemployed at home who didn't feel like hearing Trump tell us how great the economy is. People who attend Donald Trump's Tulsa rally have to sign a waiver not to sue if they get COVID-19 from the event. Believe me, this is one contract Trump will honor without question. At a roundtable to discuss police practices in Texas, Trump seemingly bragged about how well National Guard and police were able to move through and subdue protesters with tear gas and other methods, calling it a beautiful thing and said it was like a knife through butter. Although I don't see it, it's hard to argue with him because if there's anyone who knows what a knife going through butter looks like, it's Donald Trump. In order to streamline their greatly reduced convention in August, the Republican National Committee officially adopted the same platform it created for their 2016 convention, without realizing that the party's platform includes more than 36 unflattering references to those in power at the White House. Don't worry about taking it out. Trump didn't know what Republicans stood for in 2016, and clearly he still won't in 2020. The video was released of Minneapolis police officers slashing tires during the protests. On the upside, any video showing them not killing someone is a plus. William Shatner, who is 89, has divorced his fourth wife. Guess it's time to go back to TJ hookers, right, Captain Kirk? A group of white celebrities, including Julianne Moore, Justin Theroux, Aaron Paul, Deborah Messing, and many others, came together on video to say that they take responsibility for racism and pledge to stand up against hate. Hey, at least they didn't sing Imagine again. Win-win. The company that makes Magic the Gathering has removed 7 culturally offensive cards from official tournaments in their online database, which means that even nerdy white guys can no longer play the race card. Kelly Clarkson has filed for divorce from her husband Brandon Blackstock after 7 years of marriage. Blackstock is seeking to have their prenup voided, which could cost Clarkson millions. Wow, Kelly, if you really wanted to make your song Since You've Been Gone relevant again, I'm sure you could have found a cheaper way of doing it. Fearing their name is too closely associated to the time of slavery, Lady Antebellum changed her name to Lady A yesterday, begging the question, when will Britney Spears apologize for being a slave for you in 2001? Now, let's send it over to today's TMI Cast and Crew Roundtable. Stay safe.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new edition of TMI Daily. Happy Friday, and more importantly, happy Trump-free Friday here on TMI Daily. Before we start, we have a big announcement. When we started TMI Daily in mid-March, we weren't sure how long we were going to do it for. Well, 3 months and over 59 shows later, we are still going strong. As the situation with the pandemic evolves, we realize that so many people who have watched us are now going back to work. For that reason, we have decided to move TMI Daily to 6 p.m. West Coast time starting on Monday. We hope this change will make it easier for our viewers to catch us live. We look forward to seeing you later in the day starting next week. And I also understand that that means we will be competing with Chris Cuomo and on certain occasions, my boyfriend Anderson Cooper, but I think we're going to be okay. So let's get started. Let's say hello to our online viewers, and we do have a fun show today planned for you. Let's start with you, Shayna.
We're coming for you, Cuomo. Come on, bring it. Let's take some of that viewership. Let's go. Hey, what's up, viewers?
I'm Joe.
Hi, I'm in Richmond, Virginia. We're replacing all of the Confederate statues with statues of the president here. As you can see, they are anatomically correct. So look for him all over the South.
Looks just like him, Joe. Jocelyn.
Hi, everyone. Happy Friday.
Elizabeth.
Hey, happy Friday. I have viewing for when you're not watching us, a viewing recommendation. Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street. Excellent documentary on Shudder and perfect for Pride Month.
That sounds amazing. Okay, thank you.
Jess.
Come on, follow me already. What do I got to do? It's right there. It's right there. Just follow me.
Follow Jess. Emma.
You don't have to follow me on Twitter, but if you want to send money to me via Cash App, I've got my username right there.
Well, I thought that was a variable since it started with a $sign.
And Chris.
Hey, what's up, guys? And Maurice Dubois is the best on-air personality.
Okay, so let's get started today. A group of 14 celebrities, including Julianne Moore, Aaron Paul, Justin Theroux, Deborah Messing, Sarah Paulson, and Kristen Bell, were part of a video released yesterday in which the celebrities take responsibility for racism and then pledge to stand up to it. Let's take a look.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility for every unchecked moment.
For every time it was easier to ignore than to call it out for what it was.
Every not so funny joke. Every unfair stereotype.
Every blatant injustice, no matter how big or small.
Every time I remained silent.
Every time I explained away police brutality. Or turned a blind eye.
I take responsibility. Black people are being slaughtered in the streets, killed in their own homes. These are our brothers and sisters.
Our friends, our family. We are done watching them die. We are no longer bystanders. We will not be idle. Enough is enough.
I will no longer allow an unchecked moment. I will no longer allow racist, hurtful words, jokes, stereotypes, no matter how big or small, to be uttered in my presence.
I will not turn a blind eye. Going for a jog should not be a death sentence. Sleeping in your own home should not be a death sentence.
Playing video games with your nephew should not be a death sentence.
Shopping in a store should not be a death sentence. Business as usual should not be life-threatening. I stand against hate.
I stand against hate.
I stand against hate.
I stand against hate.
I will stand against hate in love. I will make my presence known.
And killer cops must be prosecuted. They are murderers. We can turn the tide. It is time to take responsibility. Call out hate. Step up and take action.
Okay, so does anyone feel like this video and the support of these 14 megastars is going to end racism as we know it? Jess.
I'm sick of everyone virtue signaling. I've had enough. What are you taking responsibility for? Are you doing something actively to hurt somebody? Are you a racist? Like, otherwise, there's nothing to take responsibility for. Like, most people do the right thing. There isn't like bands of people out there doing horrible things. There's a lot of, for lack of a better term, bad apples out there. But honestly, like, I'm over all these fucking celebrities virtue signaling.
Okay. Elizabeth?
I mean, no, obviously. This is one of those things that's falls into like performative white guilt because they're achieving nothing. I understand it's something in partnership with the NAACP. It is some kind of fundraiser, but this is the melodramatic, like this business doing like this crap at the camera. It's so stupid. It's one of the hosts I work with on their show last night when I was watching. She was like, I don't need this. This doesn't help anything. Like, and it's a useless video. Like, I'm sure they're donating, but this is one of those things that's like, just donate and don't make this melodramatic, malarkey, artsy video. Somebody was like, I saw someone tweet and call this like greatest 20 acting monologues for auditions. Like, it's what it looks like. And also everybody's acting, so everybody's really putting on the melodramatics, and like it feels just so insincere.
If you want, I watched it on Adam Carolla's Instagram page, and if you want to hear commentary that's gold, you definitely have to watch it on his Instagram. Yes, Shayna.
I mean, they also have had nothing to do during lockdown as well. So having an artistic outlet is good for everybody. The one thing that I'm trying to glean from here that's positive is that they are producers. A lot of the people who are in the video actually produce content in Hollywood. So I think like Kristen Bell, like Deborah Messing. So I'm on board with them agreeing to be more, inclusive in their casting, inclusive in their production, inclusive in the teams that they hire. I'm all for that. And if that's what they're agreeing to, then great. I didn't need a video to do that. Just do it. Just show up and do it. A great way to do it is to hire people. Yeah, exactly. To do it and make a project. And that would really show me that you are inclusive.
Yeah, there were some people in the video that I had no idea who they were. I just want to point that out as well. I was like, who is that? Emma and then Chris.
Listen, I don't think it hurts. Like, whatever. Get more people. Like, what I'm taking from it is I love that it's such a widespread message that I want people who might be on the other side, who might be more actively racist, to realize that they might genuinely be in the minority. So that's cool. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, like Shannon was saying, like, if you do stuff, great. Yeah, I don't think this solves racism, but it doesn't. I don't think it hurts.
Okay, Chris.
Actually, Jess was before me.
Oh, Jess.
Yeah.
All right. I think it does hurt a little bit. I mean, some of the stuff I heard on there was like, no longer is going to work, a death sentence. Like, what are we forcing Black people to, like, put in nuclear fuel rods into the power plant, like, without protective gear? What, like, the hyperbole makes me sick, and it further divides us by making it sound like, and people use this rhetoric all over news channels, that Black people are being hunted down in the streets. Yes, there's a problem with police brutality, and per capita, that is greater in the African American community than the white community. But in aggregate and per arrest, when denominators change, it's quite the opposite. The problem is police brutality, not that it's white citizens against Black citizens, which is what a lot of these people are trying to make it sound like is happening. Like, going into a grocery store is a death sentence. Like, come on, stop.
Peter made actually a really good point. He said that, if you really look at the video carefully, we're not saying that this is the case, but it seems like they were saying, oh, we were okay with racism, but now we're not okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how you interpret, the video. I want to go back to you, Chris, since you were waiting, and then I'll go to Shayna.
Thank you. Am I okay? Make sure I'm on mute. Okay. So, two things is, like Shayna said before, celebrities are bored. I mean, Oscar award-winning, talented as hell actor Anthony Hopkins is on TikTok right now. Just to put things into perspective.
And it's wonderful. Have you seen his TikTok? Oh, it's great.
It's great, but it just lets you know the level of boredom that is inside of Hollywood and these famous actors. So, like, that kind of, I think, again, plays into this video. Also, there's another thing that I'm sure you've already heard this before, but, like, Black people are kind of sick of white people apologizing for being white. We're not asking you to be sorry for being white. That ain't your fault. I mean, unless there's a line of people like waiting, like, hey, I want to be white, like getting to choose their race that they didn't tell us about. Yeah, I'd be pissed about that if that was a thing. But, like, but that's not a thing. You know what I mean? And really, yeah, making these videos, like, okay, here's the thing that's gonna. This is where people are gonna lose steam or lose faith in what's going on. You make this video, what happens after? And it has to be. I'm not saying it has to be tomorrow, like I need to see, but you got to do something in the very near future, because if you don't, like, within the next 6 months or something like that, then, like, you should really show that activity. And yeah, like, if you don't do it by then, first, we're gonna know it's bullshit, and two, it can't be an overcorrection, because overcorrections also seem insincere as fuck, and we're sick of that shit too. Like, you can't, like, some of the stuff that's been done in Hollywood, where it's like they force people of color into these roles that we don't really need to be in. Not like need to be in, but like you can just tell that this is like an overcorrection. It's like they're trying to be, forward thinking in a way that's like just too. It's just that we don't believe you. We don't believe you. You know what I mean? Like if you make certain, and that's the thing too. You're also pissing people off when you do shit like that. Like if like here's the thing, I'm all for it and everything like that. Especially with like fictional characters and shit like that. But like, just draw the line somewhere and know like what puddle you're actually stepping in before, all this shit happens, because the insincerity is like the thing that we're really looking at. And when you're insincere, this video kind of comes off as, you better make sure that you back the shit up.
You kind of answered my follow-up questions, Chris, but you do bring up some really good points. I think, why we're discussing this is because, every time celebrities have an opportunity, to use their celebrity for a good cause or, to get a message across, is it the douchiness that bothers us so much? Because it is for me. I mean, I think, like you said, there's other ways, people that produce content when it comes to writing, when it comes to casting, those are more long-lasting effects of trying to fix the problem. I mean, do I have to bring up that terrible, horrific Imagine video? I mean, I can't get that shit out of my head.
Don't worry. Gal Gadot is putting together a big sing-along of Lean on Me, so don't worry about it. It's coming.
But I think that's what bothers people, at least for me, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself, it's just the douchiness of it. Like you said, and sometimes it comes off like insincere, that they're not being sincere about it.
Right.
That's my opinion. Shayna.
Well, it comes off like every time they do it, it's we are the world. There are we are the world moments, but not everything that they do is we are the world. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not because a bunch of celebrities got together and said it that made we are the world happen or made we are the world special. It was that moment. It was all of it. It was the song. It was the moment. It was the people involved. It was the whole thing. You know what I mean? And people want to package lightning in a bottle. And that's a lot of what we want in this country. And it's impossible to do that. You want to be able to not only have it happen, which is a rarity in itself, as we all know, we're artists. Having that moment where it's just the flow is going and it's just magic, everything is magic, doesn't always happen in performance. You don't always get it. Sometimes you're self-generating to make it happen for the audience. Yeah. And that's a reality as an artist. You don't always get into flow. And so when you do get flow and that does happen and it's magic, it is just that magic. And you can't package that. It can't be manufactured. And I think that's the falseness that you get from it, Veronica, is that it feels manufactured and glossy and it's been highly produced, instead of it being like Sterling K. Brown talking about him going on a jog, him doing that Instagram, same thing, same talking about racism, it's not any different, but it's just him in his backyard having a conversation, coming home from a jog and talking about it and just saying how he felt in that moment. I believe that genuinely from a real place. And it's not because Sterling K. Brown's Black, and it's not because his experience is him talking about Aubrey jogging. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying it felt more genuine because it was just him not trying to impress anybody, not trying to do this glossy thing, just saying what he felt.
Well, and with that example that you're giving, I feel that people can learn from that. They can learn from what he's saying. You can take something positive out of it. Like, I would much rather hear him, talk about an experience or something that we can learn from than having a celebrity say, whatever they were saying in that video. But that's not people.
It looks like an agency package thing. Absolutely. Like, it looked like something that their agency made to be like, we are here at United Talent Artists, we're against racism, and here are some talent that we have that represents that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Except
like, it's
they're
weird
all
how
white.
the industry. Yes, exactly. And that was the other thing I was going to get to, is that not one person on the video. I was like, you have no friends of color that wanted to talk with you guys about racism, since you're confessing how unracist you are?
No, because they were taking responsibility for racism, and we all know Black people can't be racist.
In terms of We Are the World, there will never be another We Are the World. I mean, I'm just going to say that. So That was.
But that's what I mean. Like, it was lightning in a bottle. It was the magic of the moment.
Media. It just happened. It was a magical moment. They raised, they raised money. I mean, it was just everything. Was done.
The people involved, like all of it, lightning in a bottle.
Yes, I was very young when that came out, but I do remember that. I was a little girl. So, yeah. Elizabeth, and then Joe.
Well, it says really speak to Chris's point about sincerity and people following through on this. So Kristen Bell, who's in that video, and I like Kristen Bell. I want to like Kristen Bell. She's today announced she's releasing a children's book called The World Needs More Purple People, about a purple person who's like looking for the similarities in people and not the differences. And it's like, you're making money off a children's book now. Is the, weird sort of like everybody's colorblind and that'll just fix everything kind of thing that I've heard some people criticize. And I'm like, wouldn't this be an opportunity to promote like a Black children's author instead, if you're going to take responsibility and use your platform as a content producer, as a star, to give someone else an opportunity and not just take that opportunity to yourself? So that's why it really rings hollow. And that's and it's that example, and knowing that like potentially a lot of other people in the video, again, as Chris said, it's like that overcorrecting of like, if they write or cast a Black character, won't just be like, hey, this is my friend Dave. They're like, this is my friend Dave, the mathematician. He went to MIT and he's also a rocket scientist and a veteran, and he helps raise dogs and like Dave's a magic perfect person and Dave never makes a mistake and he's Black. Isn't that cool? Instead of just being like, oh, here's Dave, and Dave's like, hey, and then you just go on with your plot or whatever. It's going to be that kind of like weird overcorrecting of writing unrealistic people to try to like make up for something that you just should have been doing this whole time. Just be like,
oh God, I hope so, Elizabeth. From your mouth to God's ears.
Hey, Joe.
This is the thing though, like, we watched the entire world protest, the entire world. We watched protests in every 50 states. And I still am so proud when I hear Shay's, it's like Iowa, Idaho, Idaho, and all that. If that doesn't move you, but a bunch of white celebrities going, hey, I promise not to be racist anymore. Like to me, it doesn't, like, you know what? Sit back and let it roll. Say that you're behind the movement. Keep it. I don't know. I want to say keep it simple. Like, I don't think you need this fancy video and all that. Just show that you're behind the movement. But like, I can't see how this video. Like, if this video changes someone's mind, I'd like to meet that person.
They're just promoting their brand. This is a tool. That's all it is.
Absolutely. Hi, Aaron. In case you guys are blind, Aaron just joined us. Chris.
I was in another thing to kind of go with what we've all been saying too, man. Like, I was watching. I don't know if anybody's seen Dave Chappelle's new special that he put out on YouTube today. It's only like 20-30 minutes, and it's one of the most beautiful things in the world. And like, I kind of agree with some of the stuff that he was saying in it, in the fact that like, celebrities can use their platform, and I don't know if they should really be, necessarily speaking on the matter, because like we the people are speaking enough on it. We the people are doing a lot on it. Like, if you're going to use your platform, post good information. That's probably the best thing you can do. You know what I mean? Because one, that's going to tell people your opinion on things when you post this information, and two, like, you're really using your platform. And I think it's kind of a more sincere look at it, because that you can reach more people and more eyes are going to see your posts and things of that nature, compared to somebody like me. I got like a couple thousand, but you got 6 million. So 6 million eyes are going to see this information that you're posting, rather than you posting some, doctored corny ass video saying that like, I'm sorry for being white and I'm sorry for racism, but I'm going to do better. Like, just post the information. You know what to do. Have the conversations, and also too, have the conversations and don't post them on social media. I don't need to see you have a conversation with like your white family or your white friends. Like, just know, like, the idea that you're doing it is good. I don't need I don't need you to. I'm not gonna give you a trophy. Sorry. That's like, Black people are sick of trying to pat white people on the back for not being racist. That's just some shit you shouldn't have done in the first place. Like, I'm sorry. We're not here to fucking pet you. This is what it is.
But this has secretly been about white people the whole time.
Yeah, I guess.
I thought it was about trophies.
Trophies, pat on the back, participation ribbons, whatever the fuck you're looking for. You're not getting it from us. Just do the damn work.
Yeah.
Okay, so because many of our online viewers say they get their daily news from us, I've asked each one of you to present a story in the news that you have found that maybe isn't being highlighted in other news sources that we can talk about. Does anybody have a news story they want to talk about? Let's start with you, Shayna.
Well, today is, for those of you that don't know, today is National Loving Day. Oh. And for those of you that are on, I figured I should bring this to the table, being a lovely product of an interracial couple. I figured this would be perfect. Loving Day, for those of you that don't know, is the Loving versus the state of Virginia case that was voted on by the Supreme Court in 1967. Mildred and Richard Loving were a couple that got married in Virginia in 1958. Mildred was Black or colored, as she's listed on their marriage license, and Richard is white. And as soon as they did get married, they were promptly arrested by Virginia police. They brought their case and sentenced to a year in jail for marrying each other. They brought their case to the Virginia Supreme Court. They upheld that verdict, and then they brought it to the Supreme Court. And of course, we have Loving versus Virginia, 1967 verdict, which made interracial marriage legal. So on June 12th, 1967, interracial marriage was legal, and today is National Loving Day. So celebrate that, everybody.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Sheena, but don't they have a Netflix documentary about them?
They have a Netflix documentary about the Loving case. They also have a film that came out in 2016 called Loving, which was a dramatized version, but it was very well acted by both of the performers in that film.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for that.
Anybody? Yeah, and they are both on Netflix.
Oh, cool. Okay. Elizabeth.
I thought the assignment said frivolous, so I had a frivolous story.
Any story you want. Go for it.
So this is just, it caught my eye because it was dumb. So in Vanity Fair YouTube video, Anna Kendrick talked about her time making Twilight and said it was like cold and miserable. And then Entertainment Weekly took the miserable part and wrote a headline and article saying, Anna Kendrick said she had miserable time on Twilight. And then she said, I never said that. I thought we were done taking information out of context in tweets. This is, in articles, this is stupid. And then Entertainment Weekly took the article down. And I was like, what a dumb story all around. So there you go.
Hey, thanks for that. Chris.
Well, damn, after that, I feel like I'm going to bring the mood down. But I don't know. Okay, and I don't know if anybody else has heard about this, but did we know that Hillary Clinton was on trial for the past month for treason and possible acts of pedophilia? Like she was in like some kind of pedophilia ring with all the Epsteins and all those guys up there.
No, we only talk about right-wing bad stuff and Trump. We don't cover any like shenanigans on the left.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't, and I've been reading articles and stuff like that, but apparently they already did, I don't know, like a pre-trial to try to appeal it to where it wouldn't actually go to trial, but she got denied that. So she's actually going to be going to trial in September for acts of treason. So she might be going to jail for life or sentenced to death.
My understanding was that she just has to give a deposition in September.
Yeah, but that's yeah. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Yeah, but essentially, they tried to do it. They tried to like settle out of it, and like they were like, no, you got to have this deposition. They wanted to settle
out of her giving the deposition. I mean, she's not the direct defendant in this, but she's been named, and part of them naming it is to try to get all this out on her.
Okay.
But she thought it was frivolous, but now she does have to. But she has to just give a deposition. And because her idea of, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but she was arguing that, okay, read all of this, it's silly, but since the it's going ahead and it's a civil case, so the judge said, oh no, you do have to actually give a deposition. I mean, most legal experts say nothing's going to come out of this, but everyone is drooling over the fact that she's going to have to give a deposition, and it's probably going to be public. So.
Okay. Well, thanks for that, Chris. Emma.
This is just I won't say it's a better or worse direction, just a very different direction. The Florida city, technically, of Weeki-Wachee has been dissolved by the governor. It was a city of 13 people. It had become insolvent. The thing that they were known for is their mermaid shows. I guess the 13 residents would put on mermaid tails and like a tank and like go do like underwater shows in the theater, and there'd be like a glass partition. But that closed because of coronavirus, and the city became insolvent, so it no longer exists. I know, right? The Mermaid City.
I've been to Weeki-Wachee when I lived in Florida.
Really?
It's actually a really fun show, and the people that do, I say people because it was unisex by the time I went. It used to just be women back in the 50s, and now unisex. But the shows are really elaborate. It's like underwater dancing, and that's why so many people went to go see it. It was actually really, really interesting how they did it, and they would have little breather tubes on the side that they could pull up to get breath, so they could stay underwater for the show is like 20-25 minutes, and it's all like choreographed underwater dance, which is pretty fascinating and amazing. And so I'm a little bit bummed. I hope that the show still comes back in some form, because it's really, really cool to see.
I was going to say, for what it's worth, when I said closed, I wasn't clear. It was like temporarily closed because coronavirus.
Right.
My understanding is that the park still exists, the theater still exists, and
now they got to pay
the plan
taxes.
is to open up.
Now they have to pay taxes.
Well, the mermaids will be safe because pools are safe, so they can totally swim and practice their tricks. They just can't have people watch.
Yes.
Thank God for the mermaids.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know about the city of Chaz in Seattle, the Capitol Hill anonymous zone. So Antifa took over a 6-block area in Seattle, and they've made their own little nation. And with as anti-capitalist and anti-democracy as they are, they put out 2 amazing tweets in the last few days. One was that things were getting chaotic, so they had to elect leaders, which I thought was fucking hilarious. And so they're resorting to what they hate. And then they put out an emergency message for people to bring them food, water, and especially vegan meats. I think that said it all right there.
What's the Monty Python joke? We're an autonomous collective and we don't have leaders.
Dana?
No, I was just going to say, didn't the cops abandon this, hoping that the Antifa, protesters would destroy City Hall? I thought this is the story that I heard, that they were hopeful that they would destroy City Hall. They did not. They decided that they would then move in. They started sheltering homeless inside City Hall, gave them places to live, all this other kind of stuff. And now the city government's like, hey, you need to give it back. And they're like, come and get it. Then they set up a barricade and they're like, throw us out, right? Is that true?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. But I think cops are just going to let it go to shit so that people go, oh, you didn't want cops? Okay, there you go. This is
that's what I mean. And they were like, and then the protesters were like, well, we'll just have a slumber party.
Yeah.
Joe.
All right, so the Beyond Meat Company has started a new ad campaign. I don't know if any of you have seen it. They have 9 different celebrities, and they kind of asked them about switching over their diet, not necessarily 100%, but switching over their diet.
Are they apologizing for meat?
No. They have more like a vegetable and a less meat diet. But they what it is they basically ask these celebrities different questions. So each time there's an ad on, it's a different celebrity. One of the celebrities is Snoop Dogg, and the question that he gets is, how do you sneak the plant-based meat products into your kids don't know? And I was like, this is brilliant, because if anybody knows how to sneak plant-based stuff in things, it's Snoop Dogg.
I just hope he's not telling the parents to get their kids to keister smuggle anything. Jesus. Smuggle?
You can put it.
I believe the term for that is called, I believe the term for that is called boofing, sir.
Yeah. It's just funny seeing, it's like they asked Snoop Dogg, the look on his face is like, say what?
Does anybody else have any other stories? Okay, I have one for you guys. So mine's about a seafood scam in Thailand. So 2 restaurant owners have been sentenced to 723 years in prison in Thailand for a seafood scam. So apparently they sold vouchers to customers that entitled them to use their seafood buffet at an extremely low price of $3. But then later they pulled the promotions and it led to complaints from hundreds of disgruntled customers. The prosecutors in the case said it was impossible to sell such high quality food as advertised, and that there was no way that they could fulfill their promise. So the pair was arrested in September and they have been detained since then. Thailand often issues lengthy prison sentences for multiple accounts, but Thai law prosecutors said 347 customers purchased the promotion after it was advertised on Facebook and on social media. So they pleaded guilty from the beginning of their court proceedings, and their sentence was reduced from 1,446 years after they confessed, and they were also fined $58,500. So they're saying that in reality, they're only going to be facing 20 years in prison. So
they made like under $1,000 on this. That they sold it for $3 each.
Yeah.
If only justice was this harsh in Wuhan.
Right? No, and also one of our online viewers too, my friend Danny, says it's also National Peanut Butter Cookie Day today, National Marriage Day, and National Superman Day. So there you go. So that's our news for today. So let's move on to our final segment. And our final segment is called Guess the Panelist. So the way this works is we sent our panelists some questions. I'm going to be reading the question. I'm going to give the answer. And then I'm going to give you 3 panelists to choose from. And you're going to decide who you think answered the question the way that they answered it. Now, some questions might have 2 answers. So you'll see once we start going. So I'm going to start with the first question. And the first question we sent you guys was, what terrible movie do you secretly love and why? The panelist answered Spice World. Was this Aaron, Jocelyn, or Elizabeth?
So are we answering or?
No.
Oh, the audience. Oh.
Yes, everybody else.
Okay.
So who wants to take a guess? Is it Aaron? Is it Jocelyn? Or is it Elizabeth? Terrible movie they secretly love, Spice World. Any thoughts, Chris?
Oh, it's for sure Elizabeth. I know she's trying to hide it.
Trying to poke her face.
Totally Elizabeth.
And I blew it.
I know you love it. Here's the thing. As soon as
I was like, I don't want to ruin it.
As soon as her name was said, I pictured her dancing in front of her television when the song comes on at the end. I saw.
May I present my defense?
Okay, anybody else want to take some guesses? Anybody else? So Danny online is saying he thinks it's you, Jocelyn. Philip thinks it's Jocelyn, and Brandy Hawkins thinks it's Elizabeth. So anybody else?
Yeah, I definitely think it's Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, I blew it. Sorry.
Oh.
I laughed too hard when I got called out.
Plus, you changed color.
The answer is Elizabeth.
But may I present my defense? It's not meant to be like a by the books good movie. It's a campy piece of nonsense, and they knew it. What's his face? Richard E. Grant is amazing as their manager. He's like has my whole favorite bit because they have this running gag where they're explaining like 2 people are pitching
Cummings, right?
Yeah, Alan Cummings in it. And all these great cameos, but they're pitching. These 2 guys are pitching the movie, and they, what they were describing keeps happening. And then at the big finale, they're like, "Yeah, they'll finish the chase, come up the stairs, and come through that door." And then it doesn't happen. And the manager goes, "You lied," and starts to choke them until the girls come through the door. It also features Victoria Beckham's finest acting moment when they're trying to wake up a kid in a coma. And they're like, "Hey, it's Mel C and Jerry." And she goes, "And I'm Victoria Malcolm," into the kid's face. It's brilliant. Secret camp gem.
I thought it was like, oh, that was a good one. I should have I would yeah.
Okay, so the next question we sent you guys was, if you were forced to only eat fast food 3 meals a day, which franchise would you eat at? This person answered Shake Shack. Is it Emma? Is it Joe? Or is it Aaron?
Poker face.
Any thoughts? Any guesses? Jess.
Well, it's definitely gonna be somebody from back east, so I'm not sure where Aaron's from. So it's either Joe or Emma. I'm gonna go with Joe.
Okay. Chris, who do you think it is?
I'm gonna go with Emma because I feel like she's a sleeper in this one. Like, because I know she's gonna hide behind that I'm from New York shit, but like low key, I feel like that's the one. Like, she probably got here to the West Coast, had it one time, was like, "Yep, I'm sold."
Okay, Elizabeth, you want to take a guess?
I'll say both because I feel like I've been to Shake Shack with Joe for sure, and I feel like he enjoyed it. And I don't know if it's like an all-day thing, but could be. And then Chris's explanation of Emma just sold me that it's both of them.
Okay, and Danny online thinks it's Aaron. So the correct answer is Emma.
I told you.
Definitely mentioned Shake Shack. Like,
can I just say, Shake Shack? What do you mean I had it when I came out here? Shake Shack is from New York. Excuse you, Madison Square Park, bitch. No, I love Shake Shack. It is incredible, and even when I don't want meat, they've got their shroom burger. Beautiful.
If you love it so much, why don't you marry it?
I would love to marry Shake Shack. Are you kidding?
Why don't you marry it?
I've never had a Shake Shack. Where can I?
And they have ice cream for dogs.
Yes,
they have ice cream for dogs. There's a bunch of Shake Shacks here in LA now too. Okay. There's one in Hollywood and Vine. There's one in Burbank.
They just opened up here in Woodland Hills too.
Oh, what the hell is it made out of?
It's actually made out of a yogurt
made out of
custard.
shakes.
It's really good for dogs, and they have like a sandwich that's like protein cookies for it that come with it for dogs and everything. It's so good.
As a new doggy, she'll love it.
My dog is like, what? Every time.
Okay, next question was, what's your go-to karaoke song? And we actually have, we're going to do it in two parts. So the first song, somebody said their go-to karaoke song was Getting Jiggy With It. Is it Joe? Is it Elizabeth? Or is it Chris?
It's Joe.
Any more guesses?
Joe.
Definitely Joe.
Okay, the correct answer is Chris.
Your boy was good. Hell yeah. And I'm not here for the Will Smith slander. Say something about him and I'll come for you. Don't do it, okay? He is an amazing hip-hop artist. I know people don't think he's hard because motherfucking NWA came in with all the gangster shit, but he is a hard rapper, okay? Multiple Grammys, all right? Don't come for me because I will fuck you up.
Yeah, he's
I
hard,
love
man.
that you got so very offended for Will.
on,
I never said he wasn't talented or a good rapper or any of those things. I'm 100% behind his career.
Everybody think he's soft.
I saw Hancock in the theater, Chris.
I'm getting word. Hold on. I believe we have the karaoke version of Getting Jiggy With It. Oh. Can you sample, give us a little sample?
Do it.
All right.
I can't hear it.
I can't hear it. Yeah.
We can't hear it.
You can sing the words though. You know the song. Sing it.
I can't. I gotta hear I gotta feel the groove. I can't just do it with no music. It's retarded. Where we at? Is he playing it?
Hear it? No. Okay, give him a second. Hold on. We're working on the audio.
I'll do it at the end. Let's go.
You're so not ready for prime time, people.
Yeah, Will Smith's dangerous, man. You know, whenever somebody was blasting "Summertime," you know, people ran because they thought it was about to happen.
How dare you say
that?
He's so hard.
No. Even back when parents don't understand, that was still some good stuff.
Oh my God, parents don't understand. That song's the best.
And just so you know,
A Nightmare on My Street. Nightmare on My
Street.
Yep.
Still can't hear it.
That's the bomb.
I can't hear it.
Just crack open a Final Draft and let's do it.
Or just move on. Okay, so we actually asked so we have another answer to the question. So the next answer we were given for best karaoke go-to song was "Call Me Maybe." Call Me Maybe. So was it Emma? Was it Jocelyn? Or was it Joe?
Joe. I'm doubling down.
Yeah, Joe.
Jocelyn, you can't answer.
Perfect. Now I know I'm right.
Well, it must be Emma then.
That's that.
Done.
Okay, sorry.
It's for sure.
I forgot I was in there because that wasn't me.
So the answer is Joe.
That's
Joe.
right.
Sorry,
And
guys.
Joe, we're actually, I think we got the audio.
Yeah, but you know I'm going to do this the way I do it.
I was
so.
like, you do the modified version.
That's
Yeah,
right.
do your version.
There you go, Joe. Go for it.
Obi-Wan came you a mauled, said to go to Dagobah to be trained by Yoda, and you were on your way. Your friend saw me as a threat, rose on for Boba Fett to pay off his bad debt. You came to save the day, gave a beat. Gone, this is bleed. Story you heard is misleading. No, it's true, these are your feelings. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but I'm your father. Join me, maybe. Obi-Wan took you as a baby. Join me. Hey, I just met you. There we go.
Aw, I could listen to that all day.
That's old school right there.
Yeah, bringing it back, Joe.
Who remembers when that originally
Yes,
happened?
bringing it way back.
We got the audio. Good job, Joe. Since we got the audio going, I think we have Getting Jiggy with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, do it.
Give us a
I'm ready.
sec.
Let's go. I don't have to look at the screen.
Get jiggy with it.
Thanks, Brandy. Brandy online says this is amazing. This is what we do. Okay, so it's gonna work now. Here you go, Chris. Show us how it's done.
Get right to the verse.
Oh, it's only that one. No.
Nope, you don't got anything.
Not on this one.
It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. Will Smith is not coming through, but Carly Rae Jepsen, she comes through loud and clear. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Black rappers matter too.
QuickTime Player's racist.
I'll just do the first verse. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
On your mark, ready, said, let's go. Dance for pro. I know, you know, I go psycho with my knee joint hit. Just can't sit. Gotta get jiggy with it. That's it. Now, honey, come ride. DKNY all up in my eye. You got a Prada bag with a lot of stuff in it. Give it to your friend. Let's spin. Everybody looking at me dancing. The kid, what's the name? Was dancing. The kid sitting with the heads of his to get scared. The kids in the car would just fight it for the look. I don't like it. Either way, you feel me on the dance. Say your play. Big it up, jiggy, make you feel like foreplay. Yo, my car goes in, fit it. Ha ha ha. Big Willie Styles all in it. Getting jiggy with it.
No.
Y'all know the rest.
Oh, that was fun. Thanks, Chris.
Oh yeah, that's my shit.
Okay, the next question I asked was, what's the best lie you ever told? This is what the person answered. That I was passionate about sandwich artistry during my interview for Subway when I was 16. I worked there for 2 years and confirmed that being a sandwich artist was indeed not my passion. Was that Jess? Was that Chris? Or was that Jocelyn?
What were the choices again, Veronica? Sorry, I was laughing really loudly.
Chris or Jocelyn?
I gotta pick Jess. I am
100% Jess.
It feels like a Jess answer.
It feels like a Jess answer.
That was the consensus that it was Jess.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are wrong. It was Jocelyn.
I kept my mouth shut that time.
Jocelyn, you want to talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, I mean, I just wasn't prepared for all the mopping and like the first in, first out like thing. I mean, I did it, but after like being in school all day and having to go to Subway and working, I mean, like I made good sandwiches and stuff, but I just knew that there was more to this provincial life. So
Is that an artiste needs an assistant to clean up?
I'm surprised you guys chose me. 'Cause you guys see something in me that McDonald's never saw. They wouldn't hire me. I had a callback and a car at 16. So they were like, well, to work here, you just got to, make it on time and have transportation. I'm like, boom, done. Even on a callback, 2 interviews, and they wouldn't hire me. Never worked in fast food. So thanks, guys, for believing in me when McDonald's wouldn't.
Hey, I mean, it led you to better things.
We would have been your good manager.
McDonald's also never hired me.
Hey, I was a McDonald's manager in college because I started in high school. So
Okay, next question. What is the most embarrassing thing you are willing to admit to? This person answered that even though I wrote software to contact thousands of women across OkCupid, Bumble, and Tinder, it resulted in 0 dates or conversations.
I think we know.
Was that Aaron? Was that Chris? Or was that Jess? Any thoughts? Any guesses?
Is it cheating if we feel like we remember the conversation?
Yeah, we already like know this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard this before.
Any guesses? Who wants to guess?
I'll say Jess because I think.
Only because we heard you talk about it.
No, because I was thinking of those 3 people is the one that wouldn't get a date.
Oh,
That's basically the point of the story.
The answer was Jess. You want to add to that story?
Also, we know that you're like smart enough to actually write.
Yeah, but like at the same time, you also wrote a computer program. So
Yeah, like, the only
who's the dummy now?
Instantly, when I heard computer, like wrote.
No, I think I don't need to add anything. Just it says everything right there.
Okay.
You know what my ass. I ain't know shit about computers and that.
The final question was: give us a talent you have that no one knows about. And we have 2 talents. The first one is I can read fortunes. Is it Elizabeth? Is it Emma? Or is it Shayna? They can read fortunes. Chris.
I'm gonna go with Shayna because she got auntie energy. And when you have auntie energy, like you believe in all the mysticals and the crystals and like the healing of the spirits. So I'm gonna go with Shayna because she got that energy.
I'm gonna go with Shayna too, only because I think at one point backstage I saw her sticking needles in dolls.
I also felt that same energy, but I didn't know it was called auntie energy. So.
Yeah, that's that auntie like Creole from the
I feel
from the
it,
Bayou energy.
Gotcha.
Oh, I feel more of an auntie from like Mad Max. She has much more of that kind of auntie to me.
I'm also reading you guys the guesses that people are doing online. So Danny also believes it's Shayna. So the correct answer is it is Shayna. Shayna,
Can I have the outfit for Mad Max and keep my fortune telling? Because Auntie had some badass hair, and that chainmail dress thing was pretty freaking. I mean, I'd love Tina Turner's legs as well, please and thank you.
I would love it if you like went into like some sort of office that like where they wronged you with a big thing and it says break a deal, spin the wheel.
Okay, the last one, I asked the same question to give us a talent that nobody knows that you have. And this person answered that they make an excellent hype man. Excellent hype man. Is it Aaron, Jocelyn, or Chris? Excellent hype man.
I'm going to go Aaron, undercover hype man. I'm going to go secret agent hype right there.
Yeah, I second that. For sure.
I see that for him. He's also the only person who hasn't had a thing said yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other guesses? You guys are absolutely wrong. It's Jocelyn. Jocelyn.
Yes.
Jocelyn, shocking us all today. Wait a
They should have
second.
noticed. They should have noticed when Chris was rapping.
Because of my dog. I don't know if she'll do it, but okay. Hi. Hello. Okay. Are you ready to walk? Are you ready to go on a walk? Yeah, she's so excited now. She usually like dances around and taps around, but she's on my lap.
Oh,
do you wanna walk? Are you ready to walk? Okay, she's freaking out now.
Okay.
I thought she was gonna say she was a member of the KROQ street team.
Oh yeah, she totally is. But yeah,
That
so
can
she's
make
ready
sense.
to walk now. I gotta go walk her because she's not
Yeah,
15.
you owe her walkies.
Jocelyn, you were the first one to start getting hyped when I was rapping, so you know that kind of makes
That's
sense.
what I
You wasn't the first
thought. I
one.
should have noticed.
Yeah.
Well, now we all learned something new about you guys. So, okay, well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great weekend, and we will see you back here again on Monday at our new time, 6 p.m. But before we go, we have an online request from Brandy. She wants Shayna to do Total Eclipse of the Heart. So can you please out, Shayna?
Okay. Sorry.
That's got to be hard. There's a delay.
That was the previous version.
I'm like, is that happening?
If you haven't seen the literal video version of that song, it's
Oh, I think we're still on, guys. See you back here at 1. I'm sorry, at 6 p.m.
Hot mic.